even as we move beyond Election Day, more and more people are still asking, why didn't the pollsters see it coming? Why didn't they see a Trump victory in the offing? And it's an important question, not just methodologically, but because of the political blind spot. They were concentrating obsessively on the national popular vote, on the so-called swing states, the traditional swing states, North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and on the black vote, the Latino vote, the female vote, the young vote, sensitive for signs of turnout going up or going down. And those were the things that the pollsters were looking at. And none of those could signal the magnitude of the Trump triumph. In fact, they may not have shown Trump winning at all in many of their polls. What happened was, at the very end, the last 3 weeks, there was a massive shift of white high school educated men to Trump. 3 weeks before Election Day, he was ahead by 14 points among them, 2 weeks by 30 points, 3 weeks by 40 points, and on Election Day carried them 67-20, a 47-point margin. Why didn't the pollsters notice a swing of this magnitude? While they got the national vote basically right, why didn't they notice that that blue wall of states, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Michigan, was crumbling and would in fact go for Trump? And the answer is crucial in understanding their failure and understanding the blind spot of the pundit community. They didn't know they were alive. They didn't know that they existed. They weren't black, they weren't Latino, they weren't women, they weren't young, they weren't on the radar screen of the polling firms. Most polling firms, when they do their demographics, have men and women and high school graduates and college and age and income and party, and that's it. They don't correlate educational level with race and look at that separately. They just didn't have a banner point, that is a subset that they studied for white high school educated men. Fox News did, and that's why I saw this coming, because I was using Fox data on it, and they showed that trend. But the others just missed it. And this is not just an abstruse methodological point. It's a fundamental flaw in their worldview. They saw identity politics exclusively through the prism of Barack Obama's identity. But when you look at it through the prism of the American people's identity, you see that 20% of the vote is cast by white men who haven't been to college. And they're a very politically important group. And the fact that they weren't even on the radar screen of the pundits shows that their feelings that they're overlooked are indeed quite accurate. And because they didn't see that group in play, they couldn't imagine that Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin would be in play. And instead they focused on the traditional states of Ohio and Florida and North Carolina. Now, they should have seen it in Ohio, because they were focused there, and they should have seen that while Trump was running only 1 or 2 points better than Romney in Florida, he carried it by 1, Romney lost it by 1, he was in fact running far ahead of Romney in Ohio, which Romney lost by 1.5 points, and the polls showed Trump winning by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. He ultimately won it by 10. They should have seen it happening in Ohio, but they didn't pick it up on their radar screen. There were no polls, none, except for one Republican group called Trafalgar that came out at the very end that showed anything in Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. In most polling firms just didn't poll those states in separate breakouts. So they got it massively wrong because of a massive blind spot, not just in their methodology, but in their psyche and their consciousness. And we all share that defect in this country, and that's why those people feel forgotten, and that's why they voted for Trump. Thanks for watching.